Good morning. We are Flow Consultants Group, and we would like to introduce the Nissan Leaf. It's not just a car, it's a lifestyle. Flow Consultants Group is comprised of 5 main members. I'm yours truly, Matthew Smith, and these are my colleagues. Ron Richard, Ryan Richardson, Courtney Smith, and Asai Richard, who cannot be with us today. Just a quick snapshot of the Nissan company as a whole. It is a global automobile company with an annual revenue of $100 billion. Its sole purpose is to enrich people's lives while promising to respect their time, market their products and services honestly, and to offer products and services to meet your needs. The Nissan Green program was launched in October 24, 2011. Some key goals that we focus on to build our recommendations are zero-emission vehicle penetration and fuel-efficient vehicle expansion. Now, before we start our presentation, we'll lay out our agenda. And now we'll begin Nissan's company overview. In 1914, the first Datsun was built. In 1914, the first Datsun was built by Yokizuki Akatawa. Almost 2 decades later, the Nissan Motor Corporation was established in Japan. In 1960, the Nissan Motor Corporation USA was established in Gardena, California. The 1 millionth Datsun vehicle was sold in America, causing in 1975 Datsun to become the top US vehicle importer. In 1980, Nissan Motor Manufacturing Corporation was established in Smyrna, Tennessee, to fulfill the growing demand for Nissan vehicles. This is also the manufacturing place of the Nissan Leaf. Nissan split from Datsun, causing in 1990 Nissan North America to be established in Torrance, California. And in the late 1990s, Nissan faced bankruptcy, but with the thrive of technology, which is why in the late 2000s, the next generation of cars as we know it hit the market with Maxima, Altima, and the car that brought us all here today, the Nissan Leaf. The Renault-Nissan alliance was established on March 27, 1999. As I stated before, Nissan faced bankruptcy, but with the establishment of this alliance, Nissan was able to make a financial turnaround and become the 3rd largest automotive group. One goal of the alliance is to develop synergies while conserving the corporate culture and identity of each brand. As you can see, one goal of the alliance is to sell 1.5 million electric vehicles by the end of 2016, and we can Flow Consulting Group believe that our recommendations will help them meet their goal. In 2010, Nissan introduced the Nissan Leaf, the world's first 100% electric, zero-emissions automobile. It has 62,000 owners worldwide and 25,000 owners in the United States. The Nissan Leaf has accumulated many awards since its arrival in 2010. With only a year, it received Best Mobile Innovations for Automotive and Transport, World Car of the Year, and in 2013's Top Safety Pick by Top Safety Pick by Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, and Best Green Car by Kelly's Blue Book. Now I'll pass it on to my colleague, Courtney Smith, who will be going over the analysis of the auto industry.
Thank you. Thank you, Matthew. Analysis of the auto industry. As you can see, the number of vehicles for the past 40 years has continued to increase per household. While the number of families who own 1 or no vehicles per household has stayed the same, and the number of families who own 2 or more vehicles per household has substantially increased. The graph located at the top demonstrates that during the course of 40 years that families have maintained around 2 vehicles per household. This would allow families who have fear of range anxiety to own 1 electric vehicle while still maintaining a gas-powered vehicle for longer ranges. The graph located at the bottom demonstrates that families in the Northeast hold fewer vehicles per household than families in the West. This is due to their heavier reliance on taxis. The graph located at the top of your screen demonstrates that people spend a majority of their trips heading to and from work and dedicated to shopping. The graph located at the bottom of your screen shows that people travel about the same amount of miles during both the weekend and the weekday, which is still less than 100 miles per day, the average number of miles for a fully charged electric vehicle. Now I'd like to analyze electric vehicles. In 1835, the first electric vehicle was introduced. In 1947, Nissan introduced the Tama, the first electric vehicle with a lead battery. In 2009, the American Recovery Reinvestment Act allotted $2 billion for EV batteries. This graph is the Ever-Rogers diffusion of innovation theory. It presents that the early adopters are the first people who purchase a product. The industry is now moving into the early majority, who will be the next people to purchase the Nissan Leaf. Our recommendations will help Nissan reach that population. Now, we've been talking about electric vehicles, but let's take a step back and analyze the disadvantages and the advantages of electric and gas-powered vehicles. Rising gas prices and harmful emission are gas-powered vehicles' major disadvantage. While on the other hand, electric vehicles require larger charging time, and have poor infrastructure due to the limited amount of charging stations in each area. The advantages of a gas-powered vehicle is that they require shorter refuel time and allow the person to be able to drive longer distances without refueling. Electric vehicles, when you purchase an electric vehicle, the government offers a tax rebate. They also produce zero emission. Now I'd like to pass it on to my colleague, Ryan.
Thank you. Now I'd like to talk about why we're here. Nissan has three main goals, which is to increase their market advantage, grow their brand strength, and transform the auto industry, while keeping in mind the company's desire to make these cars friendly and more environmentally sound. Is the proposed $5 billion investment the right way to go? Now I'd like to talk about our strategic analysis. Nissan has two main strengths, which include their global presence and their competitive advantage in the EV industry. They sell in international markets such as Japan, Germany, and Brazil. And their competitive advantage in the EV industry is led by their affordable price of the Nissan Leaf. Nissan's main weakness is their poor marketing strategy. Their less frequent advertisement for the Leaf is caused by their reliance on word-of-mouth advertisement, which has been ineffective thus far. Nissan's opportunities are very promising. Due to the growing global demand for eco-friendly vehicles, the opportunity for Nissan to sell the Leaf will increase as time progresses. And our main opportunity is partnerships with large companies and governments, which will help grow Nissan's brand reputation. Nissan's main threat is their uneducated and uninterested consumers. These consumers have many fears, which mainly include range anxiety. However, with our recommendations, we feel that we can move this to an opportunity and even the strength of Nissan. As you can see, here's a chart comparing the Leaf versus some of its competitors. The Leaf has 99 miles per gallon, whereas the Honda Fit and Ford Focus have 118 and 105 miles per gallon. However, the price of the Nissan Leaf is less than most of its competitors. The government is focusing heavily on pushing the idea of zero-emission vehicles by giving cities grants to build charging stations. Also, they accept loans to help with the production of electric vehicles. As research begins to further develop more durable and longer-lasting batteries, which will decrease the range anxiety that most customers have, the EV industry will become more widely accepted in society. Flow Consultants has analyzed the problem, and our recommendations fall into three categories, which include strengthening the brand, increasing our advantage in the market, and transforming the industry. To strengthen the brand, we will add mall kiosks, start an educational program, and add in vehicle enhancements. To increase our advantage in the market, we will have a taxi fleet expansion plan and a fleet preferred provider plan. And to help transform the industry, we will increase the amount of charging stations, start a green club, have a mobile tow truck for electric vehicles, and develop the concept of a superhighway. Now I would like to pass it on to my colleague, Ron.
Thank you, Ryan. Now I'll present our recommendations on strengthening Nissan's brand. To begin with, because, as said before, the greatest threat to Nissan's Leaf is the uneducated and uninformed consumer. We recommend starting an educational initiative, and it'll include eco-friendly driving sessions, a comparison of electrical vehicles, discounts for buyers on Earth Day, and we recommend strategic partnerships with organizations such as the National Black MBA Association, where they could raffle off a Nissan Leaf to create scholarships. The following will be used in part of the educational program. This demonstrates that while 80% of Americans feel that they need to drive 300 miles, in actuality, they only typically drive 50 miles. So clearly, the electric vehicle can provide for most of their daily driving needs. This point will be emphasized as part of Nissan's educational training. We also recommend a showroom-style mall kiosk where potential customers can come and view the Leaf. They'll be able to pick up a voucher, take it to the nearest Nissan dealership, and after test driving the car, they will be able to redeem it for a $30 Visa gift card. We also want to strengthen Nissan's brand by enhancing the car. We'll do this by syncing the smartphone to the car using cloud technology. Some automakers such as GM are already doing this in their 2014 auto lineup. In addition, studies suggest that by 2017, the connected car market will be worth a stunning $1.2 billion. This is what the car's console will look like with this sample of apps. Additionally, we want to improve the car by improving Nissan Leaf app. This is what it currently looks like. We have several recommendations to help improve the app, including a locator, the nearest recycling center, the owner's guide installed on the app itself, a locator for the nearest charging station automatically routed, and a system in which you can put addresses into your smartphone's mapping app and have it sent directly to the car and routed before you ever step inside. Our final recommendation for strengthening Nissan's brand is to release the Nissan Leaf limited edition with even further expanded features, including hands-free text messaging, traffic updates, zero-gravity seats, and inductive charging. Because some of these features are standard in other Nissan models, updating the Smyrna plant to add these installations will not be difficult. I'll now turn it over to Ryan.
Now I would like to present our recommendations that will help Nissan gain its advantage in the market. I present to you our taxi fleet recommendation. Currently, Nissan has a New York City pilot program with the ultimate goal of having 1/3 of all taxis electrified by 2020. Nissan has already implemented Leaf taxis in these countries, international countries such as Brazil, Switzerland, and Mexico. We recommend that Nissan place Leaf taxis in major cities with a 2% annual increase. While doing this, they should also place charging stations at major transportation hubs where the taxis remain idle. This recommendation is strong because it's in line with the Nissan Green program, which has an ultimate goal of expanding the zero-emission car industry. Here are some of the cities, domestic and international, that we would like to start off with. Now I would like to talk about our preferred provider fleet vehicle plan. Currently, we have 4.4 million government fleet vehicles in the U.S., which makes up about 3.6% of the total vehicle population. We recommend that the government uses $300 million that it has set aside for these federal fleet vehicles and implement the Leaf as a major fleet vehicle. Some of these suggested private companies are Tyson Foods and Johnson & Johnson's, and for city and municipality jobs, meter maids and inspectors. Now I'd like to pass it on to my colleague, Courtney.
During this section, I'll introduce recommendations that will help Nissan be able to transform the industry. Imagine driving around in your cute little electric vehicle, let's just call it the Nissan Leaf, but due to your busy day, you forgot to charge your vehicle and now you've run out of charge. Currently, AAA is testing emergency charging to help vehicles that have run out of power. We would like Nissan to partner with AAA. This partnership would allow electric vehicle owners AAA services, which would entail a 10-minute emergency charging session. This recommendation would help relieve many people's fear of range anxiety. We at Flow Consultants would like to introduce Sonia Sky Pump. This charging station is unique in the fact that it uses both wind and solar technology to help charge your car. Where will we place them? We would place them at your local college and university, such as UCLA and Texas Tech, which just so happens to be in one of the windiest cities in America. We'd also place them at Walmart and Kroger, allowing you to shop and charge your electric vehicle. We would also place them at some of the largest malls in the world, such as Mall of America and other foreign destinations such as England, China, and Japan. As stated at the beginning of our presentation, we said Nissan is not just a car, it's a lifestyle. So we would like to introduce the Green
But
Club.
before you introduce your Green Club, I'd like to ask the audience a couple questions. How many of you like Starbucks? I see your hand. I see your hand. How many of you like discounts to Starbucks? I see your hand. I see your hand. Young man in the back, I see your hand. That is why we would like to introduce
The Green Club. This Green Club would allow Nissan Leaf owners to obtain the very prestigious Green Card, which would allow them to have discounts at their local eco-friendly businesses. This Green Card would serve as your entertainment coupon book, giving you special offers at places such as Walmart, Hertz, Whole Foods, and Starbucks. Now I'd like to pass it on to my colleague Matthew Smith for our final recommendation.
Thank you, Courtney. Imagine a brilliant piece of technology that is groundbreaking. That is why we at Flow Consultants Group would like to introduce something that we would like to call the electric superhighway. This superhighway operates with two coils, one being in your car, the other one is located 6 feet apart from each other in the pavement. As the car drives along, the two coils will meet, vibrating at the same frequency, and they will create an electrical current. This electrical current will then charge your car. Our research has identified a German technology company, IAV, with a patent that will already allow electric vehicles to drive across this electric strip and charge. Dayson Racing has tested race cars, are currently testing race cars with the ability to have inductive charging during pit stop. They expect this cutting-edge technology to be installed by 2020. And Nissan's Director of Product Planning and Advanced Technology, Mark Perry, stated in a 2013 interview that street-side parking with cords dangling from EVs will eventually go away. This superhighway will reduce traffic congestion they will reduce traffic congestion similar to HOV lanes that are already installed, and it will also increase the amount of efficiency that a vehicle has, never having to stop for a charge. We know we have introduced several recommendations in which most of them will need research and development before actually implementing them, and this is why we have broken them down into a phase approach. In our first phase, we will propose that Nissan introduce our educational program, mall kiosks, they will distribute Sonia Sky Pumps, and just another low-hanging fruit, we will enhance the app. We also say that they start introducing Nissan Leafs as taxi vehicles, and we'll get the government to buy Nissan Leafs as city and municipality jobs. In our second phase, we'll research vehicle enhancements enough to be able to release the Nissan Limited Edition in 2016, and we also realize by this time that the electric vehicle industry will have grown by then, and there will be a major demand for the Green Club and towing services. And in our last phase, we'll introduce the commercial fleets, and we'll continue research and development on the superhighway. Now I'll pass it on to my colleague, Ron Richard, who will be going over our financial implications.
Thank you, Matthew. These are our estimates of the financial implications of our recommendations on Nissan. As you can see, phase 1, which is 2014 through 2015, we introduced the fleet idea with taxis and government, which will generate $150 million in revenue. There are also expenses associated with this, from general, selling, administrative, having to market the cars, and having to fit them to be suitable as taxis and for government carriers. Additionally, our educational program will cost us a small amount for each person, and it's a large volume of people for those several years. The mall displays, the mall kiosks will typically cost $2,000 to $5,000 to rent, and we'll be doing this in several locations for a period of 7 months, and then we'll expand that in future years. The Sky Pump charging stations cost us $30,000 to install. We'll start conservatively with 5 and in strategic locations, and we'll continue to expand those over time. And the superhighway, which we are not building ourselves. This is a collaboration with government and other stakeholders, other companies. We're not building it, but we are helping to research and develop it for the future. Phase 2, 2016 through 2017. You see the revenue being generated in 2017 for vehicle enhancements. That is the release of Nissan's limited edition special car. Additionally, we have the Green Club, which is a $25 charge for non-Nissan Leaf users, generating revenue for our company, for Nissan, and the mobile tow truck as well, for those who run off charge. Finally, in phase 3, 2018 to 2019, we are excited to have Nissan's commercial fleet vehicle provider. What we would desire for Nissan is for them to be the preferred fleet provider of vehicles. Basically, companies such as AT&T and their typical business vehicles, we want them to switch over to Nissan Leaf. Additionally, we'll continue to increase our spending for the superhighway in the hopes that it will come to fruition in recent years. Finally, this is our consolidated statement. As you can see, over the period, we initially start with a large investment, causing a deficit. But by the end of the 6 years, we are in the green and we are very profitable. I might also mention that these numbers are estimated very conservatively, and we see a lot of growth in this market for the future for Nissan.
In the beginning of our presentation, we set forth our agenda, and my colleague Ryan Richardson set forth the question, was the $5 billion investment the right way to go? Flow Consulting Group says yes, that it is the right way to go if only Nissan follow through with the recommendations that we are proposed today. We will now open up the floor for a period of exploration, but remember, there's only one way to go, and that is just to go with the flow. Thank you.
Thank you, presenters. Now you will have a question and answer period of 10 minutes, and I will let you know when you have 3 minutes and 1 minute.
All right, thank you. Great presentation. Thank you.
you.
Question is, and it's more of a clarification question maybe than anything else. In your presentation, you mentioned 1.5 million cars to be sold by 2016. Is that industry or Nissan?
That is industry-wise.
Industry-wide?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Second question. You were pretty clever to partner with the National Black MBA Association, so I'll give you kudos for that. The investment in the superhighway, part of that being a government investment. In addition to that, there are tax incentives that the government provides for people who buy the EVs. For those who may not drive an EV, and my question is a U.S. question, why would those of us who drive the big gasoline-powered engine like the judges here, why would we be happy with the government continuing to subsidize EVs?
We would think that since the electric vehicle industry is growing, and that the electric vehicle industry would allow future generations, such as your grandkids, to be able to breathe clean air and not rely on foreign oil, that it would be something that was needed and that people would grow to like.
Okay, thank you.
Great presentation, a lot of material to cover. I'm trying to narrow it down to where I want to ask questions. I'm going to circle back to the financials, and I'm looking at the income statement, and I'm just curious, the taxi revenue in 2015 is about 41 million, but the expenses are 51 million, and it continues to ramp up where it doesn't look like those vehicles ever provide a profit margin. So why are those important versus targeting maybe another area of fleet sales like rental cars or even like zip cars?
Certainly. Initially, it comes out to be a loss because of the expenses associated, such as modifying the cars, the marketing and the expanding of our program. Initially, it will be a large charge, but over time, we'll see that investment become positive as more and more people adopt the Nissan Leaf, not just in taxis, but as other people see taxis, they're going to consider the Leaf more too, and public perceptions of the car will fundamentally change, which will totally transform the way we sell our car.
Thank you.
Great presentation. You introduced a concept about a mobile assistance vehicle to recharge. I noticed in your financials that you actually show that as a source of revenue, so I'm assuming that if I happen to be in a discharge situation on the side of the road, that you're going to charge me to recharge the battery. Were there any is this a courtesy or is this truly a revenue generating source? Since it was designed, I think, to somehow reduce range anxiety.
It's something that we think will make people more comfortable with driving electric vehicles. So it's not a courtesy. You do have to pay for it. You pay for AAA services, but the way it would generate revenue is that each time, since we're partnered with AAA, we will receive part of the subscription, all for Nissan Leaf owners.
And also, I'd like to add on to that, since we know that we cannot add an additional battery into our car because of how heavy and how expensive that is, we would make it to where our Nissan's customer will be able to get a charge no matter what, even if they run out of battery, with that being a likely chance.
In order for us to go with the flow, we're asked to have a lot of faith in the superhighway technology. Did I understand it correctly that that technology is being developed today? And if so, can you provide us any background on how effective or efficient it is today? Number of vehicles using it?
It's in the making of being developed and researched, but there's no significant information on it yet.
Okay, so still in an R&D stage.
Yes, it is.
In your presentation, you served up as a solution to the anxiety issue of having a conventional vehicle as well as an EV. If your answer to the question is the $5 billion the right way to go, why would you feel the need to provide that safety net to have a conventional powered vehicle in your garage along with an EV?
Well, I think right now, what would be the most economical and practical thing would be to have both, because with the current state, a vehicle like the Nissan Leaf is not really designed for long distance travel, which is why we would think that families would want to have at least one gas vehicle for trips and things. Not to mention it's a pretty small vehicle. I've actually driven in one. It's a great experiences, but it's not necessarily something you'd take for long distance travel or statewide, or if you're going from city to city. It's not always the most practical. And we will get to that point in the future as electric motors and batteries develop. But right now, for the costs, keeping it low cost, it's going to have that lower range, and it may not be practical for longer situations where gas vehicles would be more practical.
One of the things I thought was interesting that you mentioned was that the car is actually safe, and I have more concerns about safety than range anxiety. So will that be the safety awards and construction of the car, will that be incorporated into the education programs?
Yes, it definitely will be incorporated into the educational programs. It'll be something that we definitely emphasize, because safety is that we think something Nissan would definitely need to emphasize because it's important and people do care about it.
Thank you. You have time? I think your analysis said that we will not turn a profit until 2017. Does Nissan have the state power to hang in there for those years when you're losing a couple $100 million, whatever the numbers were?
Actually, Nissan is like a very, very large company. and they're actually one of the largest revenue generators in the world. Like they have several hundred millions of dollars in revenue each year. So we think that just considering their the size of the company and their financial position, they can handle a small deficit and small investment into this concept.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you.